As Indonesia swears in a new president, all eyes are on his team and how he will engage with the world. And 7 facts from the findings of summons of Finn's Beach Club by the head of Bali Satpol PP regarding the fireworks case. More on that. Stay tuned for details on these stories and more. Welcome to the latest news from Bali in Indonesia. This is October 20th, 2024, and my name is Bruce. And it's a big day here in Indonesia as the new 8th president of Indonesia is inaugurated. In fact, he should be done by now and should be officially the president. But what's the weather like today first? Well, it is windy, 18.4 kilometers per hour, and hot, 30.9 degrees Celsius up here in Bulang in Singaraja. And the humidity is 69%. And a little overcast today, but still, a lovely day and dry. And as I said in the last video, it's going to be dry in Bulang, supposedly until December. Okay, so as I said, we've got the new president, the 8th president of Indonesia, and first story is going to be on that. And then more on the beach club, because this is continuing to go on, this story. This is a big one. And it has caused a lot of problems. It looked originally like it was going to be pushed under the rug, but that is not happening. And so let's get started. As Indonesia swears in a new president, all eyes are on his team and how he will engage with the world. Indonesia inaugurated a new president today, ending the Pak Jokowi era. And he steps down after 10 years at the helm of Southeast Asia's largest economy. Former General Prabowo Subianto has been sworn in as the country's new leader, and former Mayor Gibran Rakabuming Raka as the new vice president. And this was done in Jakarta. Besides all the pageantry that everybody wants to see, observers and the public will be looking out for Mr. Prabowo's lineup of ministers and whether he will add Indonesia's largest political party to his coalition, leaving the country possibly with no opposition for the first time in decades. The world will also be monitoring how the 73-year-old will steer Indonesia's economic, defense, and foreign policies at a time of geopolitical and trade tensions around the world. The newly appointed chief of the country's Supreme Court, Mr. Sunarto, will preside over the inauguration, or he did, and is expected to raise a copy of the Quran Islamic holy book over the new president's head while he takes his oath of office. Pak Prabowo is expected to deliver his first speech as president before members of the parliament and other guests. World leaders and dignitaries have been invited, and according to Parliament Speaker Ahmad Buzani, almost all leaders of Association of Southeast Asian Nation countries will attend. And there's a long list. I'm not going to go through it. Apparently, the Prime Minister of Australia will not be attending because of something happening there. And the President of the U.S. will not be here. And, well, that's a story I talk about in another time, the U.S.'s relation to Southeast Asia. And the living former presidents of Indonesia, Ibu Megawati and Pak Yudhoyono, will be invited, of course, and Pak Jokowi will be there as well. And former vice presidents of Indonesia have also been invited to the ceremony. I saw a name I remembered from a long time ago, Tri Sutrisno. Wow, that was a long time ago. And the 2 presidential candidates who ran against President Prabowo have also been invited and will attend the ceremony. Later on in the day, President Prabowo will meet with President Jokowi, and there will be an official handover ceremony at the presidential palace. At the palace, the new president is expected to announce his cabinet, which has been a source of feverish speculation, and it has, and debate in Indonesia in recent weeks. And particularly for me, who is going to be the Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy? Mr. Prabowo has already garnered the support of 12 political parties in wooing another to join his coalition, Ibu Megawati's PDIP, the Indonesian Democratic Party of Struggle. This leaves analysts worry that the country could be without any real opposition to the government for the first time since the 1998 fall of President Suharto, former President Suharto, Indonesia's second president who ruled the country with an iron fist for more than 3 decades. Prabowo has been the defense minister for the last 5 years of Pak Jokowi's term, He took office in 2019. After partnering with Pak Jokowi's eldest son, Mr. Gibran, he was seen as the continuity candidate and greatly benefited from Pak Jokowi's high public approval. At 73, President Prabowo is Indonesia's oldest president to take office and his vice president the youngest ever to take office. So, big age spread, 73 and 37. Reverse the numbers. Wow, is that magical? Despite winning on the Pledge of Continuity, however, analysts say that President Prabowo could adopt different approaches in his economic, defense, and foreign policies. So sometime later today, President Prabowo will announce his ministers, as I said, and people have been watching to see who they are, what their backgrounds are, what party affiliations they have. Between Monday and Tuesday of this past week, more than 100 politicians and technocrats were summoned to President Prabowo's home for discussions about the new cabinet. And these included ministers who served in the Jokowi administration, such as Thohir, who was the Minister of State-Owned Enterprises, and Dr. Sri Mulyani, who is the finance minister, and she has been the finance minister for 2 presidents, and if she continues on, as is widely expected, she would be the minister for 3 presidents. Highly unusual here. Those with no previous experience in the bureaucracy included a singer-turned-politician, Giring Ganesha, badminton legend Taufik Hidayat, and celebrity and entrepreneur Raffi Ahmad. So the cabinet will be pronounced later today, but they'll be sworn in tomorrow. Local media reported that those considered to be ministers and deputy ministers were invited to spend Wednesday and Thursday at Mr. Prabowo's villa in the outskirts of Jakarta. There were 108 people at the briefing, and if they turn out to be members of the cabinet, President Prabowo could have the highest number of ministers in Indonesia's history. President Jokowi had 34 ministers, 17 vice ministers, 11 ministerial level officials, and President Yudhoyono had 34 ministers, 17 vice ministers, and 4 ministerial level officials. None of the figures invited to meet with President Prabowo were from the PDIP or the National Democrats, NASDEM. NASDEM politician Saan Mustafa said the party was offered positions but needed more time to discuss further with the new president. However, he said, we are still behind Mr. Prabowo's administration. We will fully support Mr. Prabowo's policies and programs. The PDIP is the only party in parliament that has not aired its intention to join the Prabowo administration, although one of its senior members, Puan Maharani, said the party will still support his administration in one way or another. Even if the PDIP decides to stay away, Mr. Prabowo could face no real opposition in Parliament. PDIP has 110 seats, and that's the most in the legislative branch of the government. But the coalition has 470 seats, so even if they're in the opposition, not much strength. Of the 12 political parties that have backed him, only 8 have seats in Parliament, including his great Indonesia movement party, Gerindra. President Prabowo has pledged to continue Jokowi's legacy, which includes his infrastructure drive and planned relocation of the country's capital to Nusantara in East Kalimantan. But analysts told CNA, that's where this is from, Mr. Prabowo will likely prioritize his own programs and campaign promises, such as the free meal program for school children and pregnant women. The former president could also pave the way for the military to play a greater role in Indonesia. Analysts have highlighted the fact that Mr. Prabowo is already earmarking 165 trillion rupiah for defense ministry, the biggest of all ministries. Some Indonesians are concerned about the military playing a bigger role in Indonesia in light of allegations of past abuses by military personnel. Analysts say Mr. Prabowo could also attempt to revise the law and allow military personnel to own businesses, raising concerns of conflict of interest and a return to the New Order era of Suharto, when the military was involved in both defense and civilian governance. A bill containing similar provisions was discussed by the last parliament, but the parliamentarians ran out of time to address some of the public's concerns and failed to pass it by the end of their term on the 30th of September. The bill could still be revived by new lawmakers who were sworn in on October 1st. Given his outgoing personality, vast network, and track record as defense minister, Indonesia under President Prabowo could play a bigger role in the international stage, from seeking a resolution to the ongoing conflict in Myanmar and tensions in the South China Sea to mitigating the effects of a United States-China rivalry in the region, which the U.S. is losing at this point. Unlike former President Jokowi, who tended to send his foreign minister, Retno Marsudi, to international summits and forums, analysts say President Prabowo will likely attend more events and engage with leaders from other countries, allowing Indonesia to increase its presence and role in the international arena. In the last 6 months, Prabowo has already visited about 20 countries and attended events such as the Paris Olympics. Observers have noted that while most of the official visits were focused on defense cooperation, some were not related to Indonesia's security matters. And so, after 10 years, Jokowi is no longer the president, but with his son as vice president, and well, he's going to continue to have a big influence, I think, on what's going to be happening in the government, and we'll just have to see. And what about the controversy at Finn's? 7 facts from the findings of the summons of Finn's Beach Club by the head of Bali Satpol PP regarding the fireworks case. The following are the facts found by the Bali provincial government, which recently summoned the management of Finn's Beach Club, Bendesa Adat Barawa, and the Perbekal in Tubuh Beneng regarding the fireworks incident at Barawa Beach the other day. The summons by the 3 parties was carried out by the Bali provincial government on Friday, day before yesterday. The Bali provincial government, through the Bali provincial Satpol PP, held a separate meeting to obtain pure information with the aim of there being no intervention or pressure from any party. The following are facts resulting from the Bali provincial government's summons to related parties. 1. Findings of difference in data on the number of foreign workers at Finn's Beach Club. In this case, various parties asked the authorities to check the Finn's permits, including the legality of employing foreigners. Management said that 15% of Finn's 2,000 workers are foreigners. If accumulated, it means there are 300 foreigners working there. However, according to immigration, only 20 foreigners work at Finn's. There are differences between the confessions from Finn's and the findings. Finn's Beach Club business license, number 2. This inspection traces business permits, alcohol sale permits, building permits, and other permits to ensure the legality of the beach club. Finn's turned out to be an investment from foreign investment. PMA. Investors get permission from the central government to build tourist accommodations in Bali. Therefore, the Bali provincial government, in this case Satpol PP, will coordinate with the central government to cross-check the Finn's Beach Club permit. Number 3, head of Bali Satpol PP said that holding fireworks every day is inappropriate. Head of Bali Satpol PP explained that this summons was to examine the Finn's Beach Club, the traditional village head, and the head of Tubuh Beneng village, and each provided information regarding the fireworks party permit and the chronology of the incident that occurred that started this whole hoodub up. We are investigating the statements of all parties, but on the one hand, the fireworks attraction activities are every day. According to the permit, they can go from 7 o'clock until 10 o'clock. We think this is not appropriate. Whether there is a ritual or not, it should not be done every day. Yesterday's meeting was also attended by the Bali Licensing Service, Bali Tourism Service, and Bali Environment and Forestry Service. Satpol PP said the beach is a public space. They said the fireworks party was held on the beach while the beach is not under authority of Finn's Beach Club. Pak Darmadi emphasized that the beach is a public space. Finns should see clearly before their eyes that there are preparations for a religious ceremony. Thus, he said, if you truly respect Bali and its values, you will automatically know what to do if you see people carrying out ceremonies. Bali tourism is cultural-based tourism, prioritizing local wisdom until the end of this attraction activity. This is a note for other business places as well to respect local wisdom of cultural, religious, arts, activities, because that is the wealth that Bali has to offer. We certainly reported it to the acting governor of Bali to provide further direction, but previously the governor had made a statement regarding this incident saying that it was inappropriate for it to have happened. Number 5, Finn's Beach Club is ready to stop the fireworks party. Finn's Beach Club security manager Made Sudiarta promised to work together to help and facilitate the activities of indigenous communities in carrying out their religious rituals. He said that this incident occurred not because of communication issues, but because of a very tight schedule. Police still saying it's communication issues, but so far everybody else is saying no, it's not. I think yesterday he said it wasn't that there was no communication, it was just that the time limit we had was tight. We had a fireworks operator using a tool. It can't be stopped immediately. If previously we knew about it, well, we could have done it. But the permit to launch is from 7 to 10, and we didn't know until the evening about the ceremony. It wasn't the only time there was a traditional activity, but very often. But even so, the time limit is 2 to 3 hours. If we knew before the evening, definitely yes, but we didn't predict that it would happen. Regarding the request for 3 Guru Paduka ceremonies, he said he will discuss that with management and with residents. He stated that he was ready to stop fireworks as long as there is a request from residents. But until now, he said there's been no request. Different from reports from residents. We certainly coordinate as long as there are no complaints from the public about the fireworks. Well, why not? If there are, well, they won't be done. But until now, there's been no complaints. And in the meantime, the fireworks party that's usually held every day, well, we are temporarily stopping it. And he said so far they've been able to hold fireworks parties every day because they have permission from the Bali police. He said we get permission every month. Yes, that's right. So we do the permit process from the village to the Bali Regional Police level. Number 6, responses to the legality and number of foreign workers at Finn's Beach Club. Many parties have asked the authorities to check Finn's Beach Club permit, including the legality of employing foreign workers. Management stated that the number of foreign workers in Finn's is in accordance with its needs. If you say there are many, it's not really. It's according to Finn's needs because foreigners have authority so they can bring guests according to our expectations. According to the security manager, Made Sudiarta, he ensured that foreign workers had worked according to their permits. Finn employs foreigners mostly for managerial positions. Overall, Finn's has around 2,000 employees. If expressed as a percentage, 85% are local workers, and the remainder, 15%, are foreign workers. He said, we need to attract guests, so we're able to pay employee salaries. So if now imagine there are 2,000 employees and there's no guest, what will be used to pay people? It would be impossible. With all activities, of course, in accordance with the rules, one of which is fireworks as an icon of tourism that's really in demand by guests that come to Finn's. For Finn's, there's no problem. We follow the government's rules. And number 7, many reports to authorities. The Nurai Immigration Intelligence and Enforcement Team visited Finn's Beach Club to check the legality of foreign workers there. Immigration obtained data that there's only 20 foreigners working there. However, management said there are 300 foreign workers. Maybe this means that they can hire 300 foreign workers, not that they have them, because according to immigration, there's only 20 foreign nationals recorded as having a Kitas TKA Kerja. According to ICT Immigration, they said for more information, you can check with the Manpower Office because that's in their domain. And of the 20 foreign workers checked, there were no violations. Immigration concluded that the 20 foreign workers working at Finn's Beach Club are all legal. There are currently many reports from public complaining about immigration violations, and these reports, according to a spokesperson from the immigration authorities, said we check, we go down and check after we receive reports either via Instagram, live chat, WhatsApp, or phone calls. We follow up on every report received to trace its truth. Okay, so that's where we're at with Finn's Beach Club as of today. Haven't seen any new reports this morning, and the story that I just talked about, well, that was from yesterday. So, wow, they put themselves a lot of hurt for having those fireworks. And we'll just have to see what's going to happen there and how that's going to impact other beach clubs. And, well, I'm thinking about one in particular that is supposed to be the biggest beach club in Southeast Asia. Haven't heard anything about them getting into trouble recently. Okay, and let's go on and have some more tourism news. Accommodation occupancy in Munduk reaches 80%. Wow, in Munduk. 2 months before Christmas and the New Year's, one of the tourist destinations in the northern part of Bali is Munduk Tourism Village up in Bulaang here, right here, and it's crowded with tourists, especially foreign tourists. As a result, the hotel room occupancy rates remain at 80%. Wow, that's amazing. This is almost the end of October. Currently, the most foreign tourists visiting Munduk are still dominated by Europeans, France, Germany, England, the Netherlands, and other countries. According to tourism entrepreneurs in Munduk, so far, European tourists are the most fond of and stay the longest in Munduk. Meanwhile, domestic tourists and Asian tourists, relatively minimal there. There's not a lot of malls, right, to go and hang out at, and no beaches up there. Most of them are indeed foreign tourists from Europe. According to Pak Edi Astana, the atmosphere of rice fields, plantations, and other natural objects that offer coolness are the attractions for European tourists to visit there. Indeed, the weather is now changing a bit hot, but in Munduk it's still cooler than in other places, and that's the reason why foreign tourists, especially Europeans, love to come to Munduk. It is said in a week, around 50 tourists come and stay in Munduk. The travelers or tourists stay in accommodations such as villas and hotels. Currently, there are around 65 villas in Munduk. In addition to the natural beauty, the activity of local residents also attracts foreign tourists to Munduk. Like now, it's still clove picking season. Many tourists are interested in watching. Meanwhile, the most popular tourist attractions are the forest area and Lake Tamblingan. So is the Munduk waterfall, known as the Red Coral Waterfall. The Astana estimates that the occupancy rate in the future, especially during the Christmas and New Year's holidays, will increase. Indeed, currently no one has booked. Hopefully last minute, entering the Christmas and New Year's holidays, people will book. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for viewing. Be kind to someone today. Stay safe. And I will see you tomorrow, actually.